Hello again YouTube, and welcome back to another video. And Happy New Year to everyone. This should be 2026 when I get this uploaded, although I am filming it in 2025. So yeah, I thought for my first video of 26, I'll finally get round to uploading my Games Room update. Moved in here a few months ago now. I've been tweaking things, but yeah, I just haven't got around to filming it yet. And I keep telling people I'm going to. So yeah, I'll do a little pan around everything, and at the end I'll give you a bit of an overview of the room. But yeah, on these shelves here, let's start from the top. So we've got a few Blu-rays up there, a few monster films, some classics. I won't talk about each film, otherwise I'll be here all day and I don't want to make the video too long. Some cracking VHS here. These are all films which meant a lot to me and that I used to watch on VHS back in the day. That's basically why I choose VHS for some films. If it's films which I originally watched on DVD and Blu-ray, I tend to buy them on that. But yeah, all these films, I either owned them on VHS or I used to watch them on recordings of VHS I used to record from TV, as well as a couple of other films which you can get on Blu-ray. So yeah, mainly monster films, but some other ones as well, as you can see up the top there. Bit of a mixture. The real pride and joy are these two big box. Godzilla Legend is Reborn, which is the 1985 one, and Monsters from an Unknown Planet. That was Terror of Mechagodzilla for other territories. But yeah, they were both quite hard to come by, so I'm really pleased to have those. And then we've got a few more Blu-rays up there, some cracking films up there. A couple of cinema posters. That's a German one, which I've shown before, which again, that's Terror of Mechagodzilla. But for German territories, that was known as King Kong Gegen Godzilla. Yeah, very weird film title for that film. My good old Kilkenny Irish beer mirror, which I've shown before. That's one I pinched from an old workplace many years ago. I think I've shown this poster before. I'm not sure if I have or not. This is a cinema poster for one of my favourite films, Southern Comfort. I talked about that film plenty. If you haven't seen it, you need to. It's awesome, and I love that artwork. So that had to find its way into the room. Then, of course, we come around to my pride and joy in a minute, which is the UK Quad Cinema poster of Monsters from an Unknown Planet, which you've seen before because it used to be my background in my other room for most of my videos. But here we've got a few Mastertronic carded Specky games. Love having these. I'm not planning on ever unboxing these. It's just nice having them as they would have been on the racks back in the day. That I've shown before as well. That's an old magazine from 1986. There we go. That was £1 back in the day. Video the magazine, and of course I got it for the cover there. For Godzilla, the Legend is Reborn. Awesome art. Love the artwork from that film. It's up there with the best for me. And a cracking film as well. One of my favourite Godzilla films. There we go. A couple more Mastertronic games there. Still carded. This one, which I showed off a little while back. My wife got me this one, which she just happened upon. She likes all fashion stuff, so she was looking on eBay at Louis Vuitton and all that type of nonsense. And she sent me a message. So I've seen a Godzilla print related to Louis Vuitton. Can I get you it? And I just thought, what? And I assumed it was going to be the American version of Godzilla, but anyway, I asked her to send me a picture. And as soon as she sent me a picture of that, I said, yes, please. Love it. Really cool. So yeah, you got the old made in China. Don't know if anyone knows the artist. I've never heard of this artist before. Death NYC. Certificate of authenticity. So yeah, it's not anything particularly valuable, but I love it. It's really cool. And then, of course, my pride and joy, which I've shown plenty of times before, and like I said, I'm sure everyone that watches my channel has seen it. The original UK Quad Cinema poster for Monsters from an Unknown Planet, which again, that was Terror of Mechagodzilla. But this is an original cinema poster from 1975. It was in a really bad way when I got it. A lot of rips. You can see a big tear through there. The paper is extremely fragile, really crumbly. So it's probably been kept in damp conditions over the years, but you can kind of see there as well, the rips. So it took a bit of repairing, a bit of careful use of archive tape to put it back together, but I love it. That's my pride and joy, that poster. Really do like it, and it's massive. As you can see, there's my chair, so you can see how big it is. My favourite Oliver Frey cover art from Crash back in the day, the Flying Shark. How awesome is that? And then this is a signed one. Signed by Oliver Frey there. Yeah, really cool. Awesome artwork. AI can't replicate artwork like that, can it? So cool. Godzilla -1. The Godzillas are moving around a little bit now. I didn't like them all crammed on one shelf, so they're dotted around. There's even 1 or 2 upstairs. There's my old Get a Blaster, which is the same as what I had back in the 80s, but I had the single cassette version rather than a double. But very difficult to find. So when this double one turned up, I thought, yeah, that's close enough, and it's quite useful to have twin tape deck. And you've also got auxiliary in the back, so I've got that Bluetooth connector plugged into it. So I can, if I want to, I can send music from my phone straight to there. That's a few cassettes there. Some of those are my originals, some I've rebought. But yeah, they're in the good old OXO tapes, tape holders. Then we come round, this again I've shown before, this was from Titbits magazine. I think this was 1975 issue. 75 movie, I think this issue was from the same year. But yeah, really cool. I got that just obviously because of the centre pages. So I love that, so I got that on display. The old Corgi carded toys I've got. These are all ones which I used to have back in the day, so that's why I bought them. Love those. The aquarium I'll come back to in a minute. It's always difficult to know what order to show things in, really. So let's come up to the top shelf here. So yeah, top shelf material. All cracking games, these. Worthy of going on display. Specky games. This is all Specky shelf along here. Say Warfare game. Wek Le Mans, one of my favourites. Redshift, still my favourite homebrew game on the Spectrum. Toki Mole, that's superb as well. Stunt Car Racer, another one, what a cracker. Pang, Power Drift, Chase HQ. Some BBC Micro games up there. They fit nicely, because I couldn't really fit much up there, but they fit, the discs fit nicely up the top there. And then we come down to my Pride and Joy shelf. Effectively like a Julian Gollop shrine, this bit. Pretty much all Chaos, Lords of Chaos and Laser Squad related. But yeah, that's obviously, these are my absolute pride and joy. The big and the small box of Chaos. Oh, that is it. That's it for me. If ever I had to get rid of all of my games apart from one, big box Chaos would be what I would keep. So really happy to have that. This is quite rare as well and quite hard to come by, the Rebel Star collection. That's actually got Chaos in there as well. Rebel Star Raiders, Rebel Star 1 and 2, look. And a magazine, the Your Sinclair version of Rebel Star. I've also got the Your Sinclair version of Chaos there, look. That's the cheapest way to get Chaos if you haven't got it. Pick up the Your Sinclair cover tape one, or this Butte box. And then underneath there, I've got my army of OXO Cube cassette racks. That's all my Midnight Brew homebrew games. Pretty much all fantastic, those. Some I like more than others, but they're all really good. This is a mixture of homebrew games and original Specky games. All of these games I really enjoy playing. Might be a few what some people would see as crap, but I enjoy them. I really like all these games. So they're all worth keeping and having on display. Again, a few homebrews on the end there. And let's pan back out to see the good old arcade 1-ups. Still got them. The Pac-Mania one, that might go at some point, because I've decided I would like to have a Jammer cab. So I think I'm going to replace the Pac-Mania one with a Jammer cab, because I can put all the games I've got on there at the moment onto a Jammer. But the Centipede one, that's staying. One, it's got a sentimental reason for it. And two, I just love the cabinet. I think that's a beautiful cab. I mean, this marquee is just so much better than the Pac-Man one. When you see that, this is just sort of printed on here, whereas that's like a proper acrylic marquee. And of course, the thing I love most is the controls. You've got your trackball on there, and your spinner, both of which work really well, and the buttons for other games as well. Been playing Major Havoc a lot lately. That's such a good game. For those that don't know it, really cool game. But yeah, the artwork on a Centipede cab, I think Arcade1Up did a really good job of this. I know Arcade1Up get a lot of hate, and obviously they've kind of gone a bit bust. Although I think they've been brought back. But I think this one was great. Love that. I think that's a really nice cab. So then that's my walk-in wardrobe there. Well, when I say walk-in, built-in wardrobe, I should say. You can't walk into it. So on there I've got my good old Pac-Land poster. That's an original one. And Vixen. Who didn't love that back in the day? All us young-blooded teenagers, we went nuts for that one, didn't we? And the cover from it as well. So I'm trying to avoid the reflections here from the lighting, LED lighting. But yeah, it's nice to have that. I need to put a backing on there so I haven't got the sort of chipboard behind it. And then we've got my rave section. Some rave tapes up there. These are all raves that I went to. I went to tons. I used to go to loads of raves back in the 90s. From the early 90s right up until probably, I think about early 2000s, I think I stopped going. I've got flyers from just about all raves I went to, but I can only fit so many, so I just put a bit of a selection up here. Universe Big Love, that was my first outdoor rave. And that one there, that Euphoria in the Plymouth warehouse, that was my very first rave I went to. Loved that. That was, as you can see, June 1993. Dreamscape. So most of these were in Plymouth, either like Plymouth Warehouse, Plymouth Academy, Cornwall Coliseum, all those sorts of places. And then obviously outdoor ones like Warminster. That one, I can't remember where that one was now, that Dance Planet one. That might have been a warehouse up in... Can't remember where it was. But yeah, used to go to all sorts of places. But yeah, I had to have that little section there. That's a cool part of my history, that. And that thing, I can never find a home for that. That's my Showa era set of Godzilla films. Bought that on release, I think it was about 150 quid. You can get that for about 115 now. Such a good set. But it's just too big to fit anywhere, so it just ends up moving around all the time. This little chest here, I think most people have got these, haven't they, from IKEA? So handy for fitting a load of games in. So yeah, mixture of Speccy, PlayStation, Spectrum Next, all sorts. I use it mainly for storing things like my double boxes and double jewel cases and that, the Spectrum games. But yeah, some cracking games in there. So most of these games I really like, and I like to play, or I have a sentimental attachment to them. So there's a couple that might change around over time, but I think most of these are keepers. Yeah, awesome games. So that's those. And then we've got my display cabinet, which I've shown many times before, and my old TV. This isn't the actual one, this is one I rebought a few years ago. But that Ferguson black and white TV, that's what I owned back in the day. That was my first ever big purchase when I was a kid. If I wanted my own TV in my room, I had to save up and buy it myself, so that's what I did. I loved that TV. And the Grandstand Pong, that was our very first game system when we were back home in the late 70s. So we used to play that a lot, and we do still play it. I fire it up on this TV here if we play, like if we're around ours for Christmas. Then we play it, the family, and we still love it. Such great games, the old Pong games. My sister's got one as well. I bought it for her, and a black and white TV. So we did play it on Christmas Day with the family. That's my original Lego. Nice to still have that. And those instructions, that's all from my original stuff. I used to love the Space Lego. I had loads more than this, but I only kept so much. I gave the rest away to a good friend of mine. But yeah, I decided to keep some. Glad I did, because I love those on display there. And we've got some other little knickknacks. There's one of my only photos of me playing games back in the day on my old Spectrum Plus 2A. You can see it there. Yeah, that's cool. I wonder what games I was playing there. Probably would have been like your Treasure Island and the games that came with it, and maybe some Codemasters games. Vinyl of Transvision Vamp. If Looks Could Kill, and of course my first concert ticket. I've talked about that before. That was the very first concert I went to. So yeah, managed to get it signed by Wendy James after, which I was absolutely thrilled with at the time. And still chuffed to have it even now. That's not my original. I don't even know if that's the same as what I had, but I had little tanks like this from Matchbox. And I think that's probably the one I had. But yeah, very cool to get that boxed. That's better. That's Tetley. That's a mug that Dad gave me recently. He's had that one since the 90s, early 90s. So he asked me if I wanted it. I said, yes, please. These little frogs, I've no idea where these came from. But I was going through a little box of knickknacks and that I've had since I was a kid. I found these little chaps. I remember them well, but I don't remember where I got them from. But I decided to put them on display. So if anyone knows where they come from, by all means put in the comments. I'm wondering if they were like cereals or something like that. But yeah, I built up a little army of them there. Up here, these are mainly lead figures and some other knickknacks. Most of these, again, are my original bits. Some I've rebought, like a little LCD game there. That's the same as one that I used to own back in the day, but it's a rebought one. Same with the Pile Up, the Pocketeer. But most of the other bits are my originals, these lead figures. Painting isn't great of them, tricky there, but that is how I painted them back in the day. And it's quite interesting because you can kind of see some of the ones are painted just with like 2 or 3 paints, and that's because that's all I had. And as I had bought more paints along the way, they got a little bit more elaborate. That one there, that General Lee, it's got a lot of sentimental attachment because I remember the day my mum bought me that. I'd had a long day in a dentist and I'd been really good, so she bought me that as a reward. I haven't got the wrist strap anymore, but yeah, still got the same car, so that is mine. Along with these. So yeah, there's some odd choices of paints here. I never knew what colours or paints they were supposed to be. I just painted them with whatever I had. That little Matchbox car there, got very fond memories of. That's not my original, that's one I rebought, but it's cool to have it. You'll see these are a little bit better painted because at this point I had some more paints, so I was able to sort of mix them and put a bit more detail into them. Still nothing amazing, but they are better. That's probably one of my better ones there. That was my favourite one back in the day, that Eagle. Absolutely loved that. I can still remember going and buying it and the box that it came in and just thinking, wow, this thing is huge. It's quite a big figure. It's pretty heavy. I'll show you. You can see that. So yeah, it's a heavy old piece of lead, but yeah, really cool. Again, nothing special of the painting. I used to really think that bald eagles were cool, so that's why. I'm sure he probably shouldn't have been painted as a bald eagle, but he was on mine. Black Sabbath cassettes, those are my originals. Probably 2 of my earliest original cassettes that I still own. Master of Reality, what an album that one was. Uriah Heep, Demons and Wizards. That actual vinyl there was my late uncle's, which I got reunited with a year or so ago. Dad passed over to me, so it's really cool to have that. It's an album we had as well back in the day, but yeah, it's cool to have my uncle's original of that. So that's in there. This is a recent pickup, which I don't think I've shown yet. The VHS recorder. Works really well, this Panasonic. I used to have a VHS TV, so I didn't need it, but that's now to sell to make way for my new TV, which is down there. So of course I had to get a separate VHS player, so that was my choice there, which is really cool. Gorgo there. Nice Titanic Creations Gorgo statue. And the 2 4Ks. Why have I got 2 4Ks of Gorgo? God only knows. I just couldn't resist them. But yeah, great film. So, oh, I didn't mention, of course, Bigfoot up there. I bought that new old stock, one of my favourite Specky games back in the day. As for all of these along the top here, we used to own all of these, I think. The ones I've got up there on display, except for Popeye. That's the only one of that bunch that we didn't own. Oh, and yeah, Pole Position, which is around the corner. I'll come to that in a minute. So yeah, we owned all of those. And then down below, some Godzilla's 1984 or 85 Godzilla there. Awesome, that's the animatronic from X Plus. Really cool figure and massive. Absolutely huge, that is. Mecha Godzilla. I can't remember what the company was that did that one. But yeah, really cool. Made of metal, extremely heavy, and it's got all light up features and sounds and everything. And of course I got him positioned with the matching 1974 Godzilla from X Plus. Love that combo. So that's why I cleared the shelf out a bit to make space so everything's not so crammed. And Shin Godzilla in his fourth form. Awesome figure, this one. Love the colours on it and the details. Really, really cool figure. Look at the teeth on that, and the eyes. Yeah, very, very cool. And then below that, we got TI-99 games and a TI-99 trackball there. So again, I won't go through all these, but yeah, all loose cartridges. The boxes didn't hold up very well from back in the day, and I'm quite happy having most of them loose. Some TI-99 cassette tapes and more cartridges. That's all of the Atari Soft, all 12 of the Atari Soft TI-99 games there, and the 3 Parker Brothers. That's all they released on the TI. And some more TI-99 cassettes. And below that, we've got the B&O, is it the LX6000? I think I've forgotten the code number for it, which currently I've got my Spectrum Next in front of. I like that setup actually, so I'll probably keep that there. But yeah, this TV is an absolute beauty. It's got fantastic sound, incredible picture, and I love the old wood veneer on the top. Gives it a real retro look. So I can't think when this released. I think it was in the 90s, but this was the last B&O to have the wood veneer on. And I don't know about you guys, I just think that's awesome. Gives it a really cool look, but up-to-date features and SCART sockets and what have you. And the old veneer goes around the side as well, look. Very cool. My original Nintendo SNES. My original Nintendo SNES. That is my OG one, which I've had all these years. So yeah, that has a lot of sentiment to me. My SCART switch box. That is a Silverline Trilogy 1. Really good SCART box, that is. Really nice. It's got 5 sockets in there, and it's RGB. It does actually auto switch on a lot of stuff as well, so that's very cool. So I've got that plugged into the B&O, so most of my stuff goes through the B&O. The Vectrex, who doesn't love a Vectrex? Got Vector Patrol running there in the background. Fantastic thing, and fantastic game. If anyone hasn't got Moon Patrol, you really should buy it. It's just, or Vector Patrol I should say. Fantastic game. Bod overlooking everything, and rightly so. Then up here we've got my original Amiga. That's my oldest of my actual computers I still own. That is my original one, and so is the Skid Marks box. That's my original Skid Marks as well. That sounds rude, doesn't it? I don't play the Amiga much, so I've got that up on display for now, but it does all work, so I can get it down when I want to, if I want to play it. I did have it all set up, but I just thought, you know what, there's no need. I'd rather prioritise the stuff that I do play. Still love that Superior Software poster, all those games on there. My little Austin Metro. I've shown this before. It's just a little brochure for the Austin Metro, but that's basically the one I had back in the day. That was my first car, one of those. Loved it. Is it better with this light on or off? Maybe off. The video pack, the Schneider video pack, this is quite a rare one, the 741. So this is the same as the video pack, was it the 7400 with the enhancements and that on it? But yeah, this is quite a rare variant, but I love it. Really cool looking. It's actually got like a sort of champagne colour finish. Don't know how well the colour is being shown here, but yeah, really nice. And it's been modded with a switch, because apparently the switches, these used to pack up more often than not. So that's been changed to that little switch underneath. Yeah, really cool system. Love the video pack. Then coming up here, we've got a few carded Matchbox vehicles. These are all ones which I owned back in the day, and I wanted to get them still sealed, just so I could put them on the wall. So yeah, I've got pretty much all the ones I want now of the Matchbox, but I'm really happy to have those. Love having them displayed like that. And they're not particularly expensive, so yeah, if you like the idea, look them up on eBay, and as long as you're patient, you'll get the ones you want, including one Skybusters. That's one I vividly remember having, so when I found that in a box I was chuffed to bits. So then along the top here we've got more TI-99. Again, most of these we owned. Well, when I say most of them, we didn't have Pole Position. We had Moon Patrol, there's Pac-Man, and the Funware ones we didn't have. I don't think they were released in the UK. Pac-Man is the only Spectrum game there. That's the old Specky. My Rally X marquee that I got from Owl's Arcade. He kindly gifted me that when we had our meet-up. So yeah, really cool. Love that being there. So then let's come down to the other shelf. So yeah, another 74 Godzilla there from X Plus. That's a 30cm one. Micro VTech Cub, an essential if you want to have a BBC Micro. And my joystick there, which looks like it's about to fall off. And of course the BBC Master. Just like we used to have back at school. We used to have BBC Micros and a couple of BBC Masters, and I love the Master. So yeah, that's a really cool piece of equipment. And I do recommend a Beeb. If you like a retro setup, you need to have a Beeb in there. And of course my pride and joy, TI-99 Texas Instruments, together with Speech Synth. And I've got that plugged into my Samsung Sync Master. It works really well on that. For some reason the TI worked better on a LCD than it does on a CRT. Just seems to give a better image. And this I bought from eBay. It's made from stainless steel. It's really well made. And it's actually a BBC Micro one. It's got a cutout underneath here of the BBC Micro. They did a really nice job of it. So I got that quite cheap. There weren't many bidders, but actually I ended up using it for my TI-99 because it just works really well there. And it's all matching silver, as you can see. So yeah, love that. TI-99, most beautiful retro computer, I reckon. The DeLorean. And then underneath the video pack, we got the Specky Plus 2, which I've just recently put back under there actually. I did have my Specky Next under there, but I thought, you know what, I want my Plus 2 back. So I brought that back in. I've got to wire it back up. But then what I'll do is I'll have that plugged into the LCD, because I've got a couple of sort of text-based games, or games where you need to use the keyboard. So that would be more useful than being over here, trying to use keyboard right in front of that massive screen. It doesn't really work very well. So from there, let's jump around to the aquarium. So this aquarium, I'm absolutely thrilled with. I've had a lot of aquariums over the years, and this has been the first really low maintenance one, which is what I wanted. That's why I chose this one. I'll tell you what, I'll put the other lights off a minute because I'm getting too much reflection. Right, that should help. Yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled with this. Very low maintenance. It's mainly shrimp and some rasboras. So yeah, there's little Neocardina shrimp. These are. I do like the little blue ones. Electric blues, I think they're called. That's a pygmy. What do you call them? Little catfish. Pygmy Cory. Yeah, the shrimps are pretty active. They're just milling around, doing their thing. And there we go. There's the little rasboras, chili rasboras. Little tiny things they are. So it's all. There's no bio load on these. I haven't even had to do a water change yet, and I've had this set up for probably about 4 months. They're really cool, these little pygmy Cories. They hang about in a little bunch. There you go, look. They tend to always just chill out together. So there's 6 of them. Usually they're together. Sometimes there's an odd 1 or 2 dotted around elsewhere. There's one over here, look. Another shrimp there. Yeah, there we go. There he is. He's just chilling out there, look. One of the shrimps. Yeah, really cool. I like the way it's all come along. It's a bit overgrown, but I like it that way. It looks nice and natural, which is exactly the look I was going for. If you do come to set up anything like this, one big recommendation to make your life a lot easier is put some floating plants like these. As these purify the water a lot. So yeah, just the water parameters have just stayed bang on since I set this up. So yeah, giving a little extended look around here just because I think it's cool. And it's the last part of the video. Let's have a little zoom in. Let's see how close we can get to these guys. There you go, look. There's him. Not to be eaten. I don't want any comments about eating the shrimps. Can I focus on these guys? They're so fast, it's very difficult to focus on them. But yeah, anyway, that's probably enough of me yabbering along and showing you all that stuff. Oh, Foxy's just turned up. Hello, Foxy. And that's about it. So let's just give you one last little pan around. Let's put that ceiling light on. So yes, if there's any comments, any questions or anything like that, feel free to pop them in the comments section. We'll be here ready to answer. Oh, of course, we've got a dog bed under there, look, under the TV. She likes to chill out in there, as does Smudge, our other dog. Yeah, if you've got any comments on anything, any questions about anything, fire away in the comments. And apart from that, I hope everybody has had a great New Year's Eve. And I hope everyone has an awesome 2026. I think that is all. What do we say from that, Foxy? That is all.